Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Future Stars on Hidayat TV. And I'm your host Hassan Shah. And today we'll be talking about Eid al-Qadir. Before I do anything about talking about Eid al-Qadir or anything else, I would like to go on to introduce my guests.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Misbah, I'm 7 years old.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Bosin and I'm 9 years old.
Misbah has something to start us off by telling us a little bit more about Eid al-Qadir and its date. So could we start off with a loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
On the 18th of Zilhajj of the year 10 AH, after completing the last pilgrimage, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, along with around 1 million Muslims, reached a place called Ghadir-e-Qum near Mecca. The following verse was revealed: Messenger, deliver what has been revealed to you from your Lord, and if you do not, then you have not delivered his message, and Allah will protect you from people. Surely Allah will not guide the unbelieving people. On the receiving above verse, the Holy Prophet stopped at that very place and delivered a speech, an extract which seems to time has approached when I shall be called away by Allah, and I shall answer that call. I am leaving two precious things, and if you adhere them both, you'll never go astray after me. They are the book of Allah, my progeny, that is my Ahlul Bayt. The two shall never separate from each other until they become to me by the pool of paradise. When the Holy Prophet Muhammad, in an attempt to remind the Muslims of his own authority over them, said, "Do I have not more right of the believers than what they have over themselves?" Muslims answered unanimously, "Yes, O Messenger of God." This served as a stepping stone for the announcement of his heir and vicegerent. Whoever I am his leader, Ali is his leader. The Holy Prophet Muhammad then continued to say, "O God, love those who love him and be hostile to those who are hostile to him." Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
Thank you, Misbah. So Misbah there told us a little bit about the date, which was on the 18th of Zilhajj, which is on Friday. And she told us a little bit about what the Prophet said at Ghadir-e-Qum after Hajj, after the Hajj, when they went there. Misbah, could you repeat that, please? What the Prophet said at Ghadir-e-Qum, so you can remind everyone.
The Prophet said that whoever held out his hands of Ali and said, "For whoever I am his leader, Ali is his leader." And he continued to say, "Oh God, love those who love him and be hostile to those who are hostile to him."
And thank you, Misbah, for telling us, repeating that verse. So this showed that Prophet Muhammad was giving a successor to all of the Muslims, which was Imam Ali alayhi salam. So the Prophet held up Imam Ali's hand and said, "Whoever I am the master of, whom I am the master of, Ali is the master." So this gave us an indication that Ali was his successor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So after the Prophet's death, Ali should be the next king or leader. Yeah. So Misbah, could you tell us a little bit more about what happened at Eid? What happened at Ghadir-e-Qum?
Eid al-Qadir is celebrated with great rejoicing by Shia Muslims, where they remember Prophet Muhammad's last instructions to the believers. Eid al-Qadir is one of the most important days of rejoicing for Shia Muslims around the world, as that was the day our beloved Prophet Muhammad declared Hazrat Ali's succession at Ghadir-e-Qum. On his return from his last pilgrimage, which is known in history as Hajjat al-Wida, This took place on the 18th of Zilhaj in 632 AC, 3 months before his demise, when the Prophet and his followers were returning from his last pilgrimage. Prophet Muhammad announced that he had received an important revelation from Allah and made a halt at the pond called Ghadir Qum. A makeshift diyas were erected from saddle sticks and camel skins. As soon as all the pilgrims were gathered, he acted upon the revelation of Ayah Qum. O Messenger, deliver to the people what has been revealed to you from your Lord, and if you do not so, then you will not have delivered his message, and Allah will protect you from the people, for God does not guide those who reject faith. The Prophet then declared, Man kuntu mola fahaza aliyan mola. He of whomever I am the master, Ali is his master. Prophet Muhammad felt great relief upon accomplishment of his mission of declaring Hazrat Ali his successor and legatee Wasiya, and thereupon received the final revelation. This day I have perfected you for your religion and completed my favor on you and chosen for you Islam as a religion. Surely those who swear allegiance to you but swear allegiance to Allah, the hand of Allah is above their hands. Therefore, whoever breaks his faith, he breaks it only to the injury of his own soul, and whoever fulfills what he has pledged with Allah, he will grant him a mighty reward. And he who it is made the stars for you, that ye may be rightly guided by observing them in the darkness of the land and the sea. Indeed, we have made the plain the signs for people who can know. The Holy Prophet Muhammad said, as the stars in the sky are the source of guidance to the travelers, all the holy ones of my Ahlul Bayt are the source of guidance to the people, and as the stars will remain in the sky till the day of judgment, the earth will never be without divine guide from my Ahlul Bayt, that is an Imam. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil.
Thank you, Misbah, for telling us more about what happened at Ghadir Qum. Misbah, what you said was really important, because there was this one ayah which, Misbah, if you could say again, saying that Allah said that if you do not give this message to the people, that you haven't accomplished anything in your message to the people. So, Misbah, if you could say that ayah again.
O Messenger, deliver to the people what has been revealed to you from your Lord, and if you do not so, then you will not have delivered his message, and Allah will protect you from the people, for God does not guide those who reject faith.
Thank you, Misbah, for repeating that ayah again. So that was really important, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because the Prophet Muhammad had to do this. It was a really important thing, and Allah got him to do it as well. He sent down two ayahs, two verses. Misbah, you talked about as well a little bit of a makeshift stage, didn't you, in your thing? So Mohsin, I think you have something to tell us about more about this stage that the Prophet got everyone to make.
The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, then quickly ordered the cleaning of the desert by prickly plants from the hot sandy ground for the mazes to stand before him. Then he ordered for some camel saddles to be piled up so as to make a pulpit upon a small elevated sandy mound for the people to see him. Then the Messenger of God ﷺ awaited and patiently sweating under the hot burning sun for the stragglers of people that were still behind and those that had gone further to gather before him. As soon as the multitude were gathered before him, the Holy Apostle wasallam stood upon the makeshift pulpit of camel that was piled up on the small sandy mound before them, so that he was high enough to be seen by all the congregation. Before him the amazed crowd before him quickly quieted down. The sound of the frightening murmur soon died down as soon as they saw the Prophet ﷺ standing high before them. Then he gestured to Imam Ali ibn Abu Talib and invited him to join him and stand on his right on the makeshift member of prayer.
Mohsin, could you speak a little bit louder because I can't hear you?
Camels saddled upon the small sandy mound. Each one of the mazes of people was standing on his thin woolen cloak on the ground to protect their feet from the burning hot sands around them, which was baked by the blazing hot noon sun. They waited and watched in wonderment at the two before them, and again started to murmur to each other, providing their own explanation of what was to come. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, gestured with his hand and murmur increased, and all the mazes listened attentively. With the messenger of God, peace be upon him, slowly began his address. He started first by praising the glorious Almighty Allah Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the world and of the heavens. He proceeded to give them the sad news to their dismay of all congregation of his own nearing death, saying, I have been summoned, and it is the moment for me to answer, for the time has come for me to depart from you. However, I do leave behind me amongst two weighty and precious things, and if you cleave them, you will surely never go astray: the holy book of God and my offspring, the Ahlul Bayt, for they will never be separated from each other until they have led you to me at the sacred shores of heaven. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajib farjam. Thank you for telling us a little bit about that makeshift stage that they made. Before we go on a break, we'll talk a little bit about that makeshift stage. So Mohsin told us that the stage had, because they had to ride on camel for Hajj, because at that time they didn't have cars or anything like that, and it was a long distance. It was a really long distance to go. So they had camels, and to sit on a camel without a saddle must be very uncomfortable. So they had lots of saddles there as well. And they used that to make like a stage, and they used cloths that they had on them. They used wood, and there was like a little hill there, so they chose that to make it a little bit higher. So this is the thing that they used to make that stage. And because over there it would be really hot, because it was kind of like a desert, wasn't it? It would be really hot. You imagine in the desert, it's hot, isn't it? Yeah. So so they put like their cloths that they had on them, they put them on the ground to keep their feet not burning from the blazing hot sun, because the sand is there all day and the sand will be hot, wouldn't it? Yes, so the sand is there all day and it would be hot for the people to sit on or stand on. So they put cloths there to make it a little bit more cooler for them to sit on. So and then after that, Imam Ali and the Prophet went on stage and then he announced his imamat. So so Mohsin, thank you for telling us a little bit about that makeshift stage. And before we go on, we're going to have a little break, and so we'll see you after that break. So good office.